Last night, the Heat suspended star guard Jimmy Butler for 2 games for a continued pattern of disregard of team rules, according to a statement released by the team. Yesterday, Butler missed the team's flight to Milwaukee, which our Shams Charania originally reported and has been all over the story from the beginning. Shams is with us here now. Good to see you. Shams, what more can you tell us about a potential Miami-Butler split?
Yeah, Molly, this has turned into really an ugly, bitter, any word you want to use, and a divorce to a relationship that overall has been pretty successful. You think about the last 5 years for Jimmy Butler, 3 appearances in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 of which were NBA Finals runs. And right now, this is a situation where the Heat are putting their foot down on a lot of the stuff that Jimmy Butler has traveled separately away from the team in the past before at times. And he was planning to do the same thing yesterday, joining the team in Milwaukee last night instead of going on the team flight. So he tells the team that he's going to fly separately on private charter, and he will join the team in Milwaukee. But before he even got a chance to do so, I'm told the Heat called him and informed him to stay home, that they don't want him there, and they were suspending him for 2 games on this quick 2-game road trip that they have. And they'll play again in Miami next week. But where the situation is at is it's untenable. You see Eric Spoelstra, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo have spoken out publicly about the fact that it's brought a lack of clarity to this team, a level of chaos, level of distraction, and there's not really an end yet in sight. The Heat have been engaged in conversations with multiple teams, one of which being the Phoenix Suns, from what I'm told, but they're not close to a deal as of yet. They obviously have an asking price that they've laid out to teams, including the Suns, of players that they feel can help, draft assets, and not those long-term contracts. That contract of Bradley Beal that the Suns have has been really a non-starter in talks. So they're not any closer to an end, but before that point, it's going to be a little ugly.
Look, I've known Jimmy Butler for years. I got a lot of love for him. Jimmy Butler, if you are watching, you are not helping yourself, my brother. You're not helping yourself. Mark Andrews and the Baltimore Ravens is a different animal. But there's no question that even though it's understandable, it's unprofessional. This is an extra level on top of unprofessional. You got to show up to work in time, and when you don't show up to work, you got to own it. And when you just finished suffering a 7-game suspension, although you might have thought it was not justified, the fact of the matter is that was the decision that the organization has made. You're looking for your bag. There was a 2-year, $113 million extension you didn't get. You're hoping to get at least that from somebody else. How you going to get that if this is your reputation going out the door? And it's getting worse. I would love to sit here and revisit what I said, Shams, over a week or so ago about Pat Riley and, love this man, first-class organization all the way, the winner within. We all know how I feel about Pat Riley, but LeBron did walk out the door. You didn't get Kevin Durant. You didn't get Damian Lillard, okay? I can point to those things. I can point to the fact that this is Miami we're talking about here. Everybody love being in Miami, yet you don't see people anxious to come play for the Heat. What's up with that? We got to ask those questions, but not today. And the reason why we can't ask those questions today is because Jimmy Butler was late to work. And that's really what the bottom line is. We can't make excuses. We got to call it like we see it. Love the brother, wanting to get paid, wanting to get as much money as he possibly can. He's a rough rider. He shows up, playoff Jimmy, big games. All of that stuff is true. But at the end of the day, you got to be somebody that answers the call. You've been back for 3 games. You scored a grand total of 39 points, averaging 13 points. You're getting paid nearly $49 million. You got a $52 million player option. Pat Riley and them are looking to move on. They need to make this happen quick.
You think before the trade deadline?
They got to. They can't keep him. And I think that's important, whether it's directly or subconsciously. I think that's what this is about. Jimmy Butler desperately wants out. He told Pat Riley to his face, "I want out." I'm just saying when this happens. Yes, that's right. And Mickey Harrison. I'm just saying here, for the purposes of this show, you are not helping yourself, Jimmy Butler, when something like this happens. You told him you want out.
All right,
now
Shams,
you go play until you go.
I'll give you the last word, and then I want to move on to L.A.
Both sides have the same goals, but how do you get there? And getting to the asking price, that's the biggest thing. The whole league is waiting on a Jimmy Butler trade, because this could be a 3, 4, 5 team trade potentially if he ends up in Phoenix. That's the only way this deal happens. But to get to that point, there's 2 people that are going to ultimately sign off on this, and that's Mickey Arison, Pat Riley, Andy Ellsberg in that front office as well. And so far, they have not found anything that they like.
A pass article on ESPN.com, Shams. So LeBron James and Anthony Davis have expressed growing concern with the Lakers' ability to make significant upgrades before the trade deadline, putting the pressure on the front office. Shams, what more can you tell us as the trade deadline looms here?
Yeah, this is notable because you have 2 players, a 40-year-old LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the prime of his career at 31. They really feel, from what my understanding is, that this team, the Lakers, could be a piece or 2 away from legitimate contention. And whether that's going out and getting a big man, getting a guard, I think a lot of people around the league expect the Lakers to have some level of activity, but they want to see the Lakers and that front office show activity. And from my understanding, the Lakers are open to moving. They've got 2 first-round picks. They are open to moving those picks, but they want players that not only fit this current LeBron James, Anthony Davis iteration, which might only have 1 more year after this year, as LeBron James has come out and said he has 1 or 2 years left in the NBA. But they want players that can play the next 3, 4, 5 years under J.J. Redick. And where is that player in the marketplace? Both of those guys feel that the Lakers and want them to be active in finding those players.
We all want a lot of things in life. I want my hairline to move a few feet forward. It ain't happening.
Do that.
It ain't going to happen, okay? Maybe I'll get the hair club for men, and you know, they'll give me an appointment expeditiously, and we'll get it done as quickly as we possibly can get it.
Turkey,
you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I might try that, too. Whatever works, okay? We want a lot of things in life we can't have. I want to hear that about LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Excuse me, this is the game of basketball. You have 2 stars that play like preeminent stars. You can make some noise. You can't do it by yourself, and I understand that. But whatever limitations the Los Angeles Lakers have, Shams, I'm not going to let LeBron James off the hook with that. You know, you won a championship in the bubble, okay? There was a Caruso on the squad, a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on the squad, along with some others, okay? And Kyle Kuzma and others. You wanted to disband with all of that, all right? You wanted them to get your boy Russell Westbrook on the squad, and that didn't work out well. We've seen Russell Westbrook look a hell of a lot better in Denver and with the Clippers before that than he looked in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform. We know that story. That's got LeBron James written all over it. All changes are made all the damn time. At some point in time, you know, why? You know, you could have stuck with what you had to deal with, and you would have more personnel to work with. I love seeing Anthony Davis on the court. Last season and this year, he has played like the all-star we know he is. He is an all-world talent. He's big time. Guess what? You're going to have to carry the load because the Lakers are relatively limited in what they could do. Maybe they could tweak something here or there, but in the end, is it going to be enough to upset or offset Oklahoma City or Dallas or somebody like that, Denver? Let's not forget them. Hell no. It's not going to it's not going to cut the mustard in my estimation, Shams. I just don't see it.
They do have some players on this roster that, from Christian Wood, Jared Vanderbilt, players like Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish. Like, how do you figure out a way to consolidate talent? Because, Stephen, that is a good point. That team that they had that won the championship 2019, 2020, how do you get back to that model? And that includes finding a center. And the Lakers have been active in that trade market to go find a center in the marketplace. And every time they call on Walker Kessler in Utah, that asking price is really high. So that front office is trying to make calls, doing due diligence. But at the end of the day, it takes 2 teams to tango. And they have not been able to find deals
I just
as
feel
of
like
yet.
We hear this every year.
Yeah, we hear it.
I constantly hear this.
Right,
they always need more. And even when J.J. Redick, I remember when he was on our show, he used to always talk about, they have a top-heavy roster. Obviously, that was a few years ago. But it's like
no, it's the same. It's the same. It hasn't changed. They got a compilation. Listen, I like Max Christie. I'm looking at Connect. I love the fact that they drafted him, okay? I like Austin Reeves and he's developing. Maybe if you just stick with the guys you have and continue to develop them as opposed to sending them elsewhere to get a piece that's supposed to be a key, only to watch you go home early. Maybe if you keep some personnel, you might develop into something. Yeah.